Uther is back for sure, and it will depend on the draft, and Tempest has been focusing a lot more on Falstad, especially along with the MVP teams. Let's see if Falstad makes another appearance in this battleground, and again, the same question will be Zeratul. Which team will take Zeratul or Nazeebo?
Let's see if they try to kind of go around that global again with the Dahaka ban. It's crazy how prolific Zeratul has become as a hero just because of his utility and his pressuring against globals, against Falstad, for example, but that backline pressure is such a soft counter to Uther, I really feel.
I love all these heroes coming back to the meta, and oftentimes it's really hard, and it's more of a brain fight for all the teams.
A brain fight, I like that. I like how you put that. It's a mental battle. All right, well, so a lot of thought going into this one.
But still no Nova, no Lily. Feels bad, man.
Hey, we saw Nova.
Once with Zeratul.
Yeah, double Cloaky. Come on.
Double Cloaky.
Hey, I won a televised broadcasted Chinese match in the Nova Brawl. Okay, I had the highest KDA.
Nice.
I know a thing or two about that hero.
For Yanvala is banned, of course, from GG first.
Well, I don't know if it's an of course in this case. Well, you would definitely think about it a lot, but they really went deep on the brain fight.
I think they want to have Zeratul on their own, so it was what you said before. It was more of a throwaway ban just for the safety.
I think Tempest bans a Zeratul and they take the Falstad, if that's what their plan is here, or the Kerrigan, if they really want to dive into that already, which is not unreasonable by any scope of things. Keep in mind, normally it's the Diablo that we see GG pair up with Zeratul, but we've seen Diablo even without the Zeratul here, so maybe that's something they'll pick probably in second rotation.
Yeah, maybe they'll just pick Malfurion and give a safe hero onto Jaehyun. That was their usual choice when they had this kind of long first pick. Instead, it's going to be Falstad, though.
Falstad's still fairly safe. The Malfurion is very neutral, but the Falstad can still work with the Kerrigan, can still work with the Diablo. I feel like the Meridian would have been, or sorry, the Malfurion would have been better with the Diablo, but doesn't necessarily mean they don't get it. Tempest here, probably not too concerned with globals on this map. Falstad on this map is quote-unquote a global, but it's not about his global presence as much as his split pushing and his engage potential. So definitely functions completely different than Dahaka here, so I don't think they're going to even look to it. They grab the ETC.
ETC mouth, and they're going to try to take a Rag along with maybe not Gul'dan. Actually, Lockdown sometimes picked Kel'Thas over any other mages on this map especially, so we may see the coming of Kel'Thas back into the meta.
I hope so. That old Kel'Thas ETC was so strong.
Yep, and with Malfurion taken on to Tempest's side, they can still go for Diablo, but the pair-up would be a little bit less strong for themselves.
Yeah, well, not with no Zeratul and no Malfurion, it just feels like it's not worth the pick unless you just feel comfortable. I'd rather see them take something else like a Tyrael Kerrigan here and pick the Diablo later if they feel like it's a good way to round out the comp. ETC removed. Gul'dan, is it going to be the Ariel? No, Arthas. It's the Samuro skin for Gul'dan.
They are being tricky now. They pick Gul'dan. It almost feels like they are trying to draw the ban on Ariel now.
Well, it's definitely a strong ban here. There it is. I wonder why.
It's all. It has to be a thought-out plan, of course. It's not picking Gul'dan with Ariel when they had the chance.
I wonder why they picked Arthas here, though. That's the bigger puzzling moment for me. It's almost as if they just didn't want Ariel. As I was gonna say, Tyrael seems to be the natural ban here, but if you pick Arthas, you already kind of have the counter to it. So it's weird to do it this way because Tempest is much less likely to bring the Tyrael now. But is this going to be an Uther comp for Tempest now, or are they really going to go all in on the Mosh Pit? Because Mosh Pits can win fights, but they haven't really consistently been doing that. And I feel like teams over-prioritize sometimes the potential for the Divine Mosh. I don't think, well, obviously they already have Malfurion, so that's not going to be a thing. Yeah, I just think this Tyrael ban's really weird. Like, I'm like, okay, maybe they're thinking they're so scared of the Divine Shield, and so that's why they banned the Tyrael. But
I think they have Falstad and Gul'dan, which are heroes that rely a lot on their spell damage, and Tyrael has that spell armor available. True. It's somewhat of a soft counter, maybe they're thinking on that. And also, Sanctification with Mosh is a powerful tool. With not knowing what else is up for Tempest side, I think that's an okay ban. Okay, there's a Rag for Modern Life, and also Tyka's picked up.
So Soul Laners, and I'll save that last pick for perhaps a Li Ming. GG now.
So what kind of support are they going to bring?
They also need a solo laner too. This could be a Lucio, but I don't feel like it's going to be.
I think you need a lot more sustain than Lucio to keep Gul'dan alive against an ETC, Rag, and Tychus. With just a single power slide in, you'll have a dead Gul'dan in second.
It's definitely not going to be. I mean, it's definitely a high chance it's going to be the Kharazim. It's definitely not going to be Uther. And
maybe even Morales.
Who's going to be the solo laner though?
Arthas?
What are they bringing?
Arthas and Falstad probably.
I guess it could be the Arthas solo laner. It may even be. They go into another melee here like the Dahaka, but
it's time.
Let's see. Okay, it's going to be Uther. I don't think this is going to be a good choice.
And Johanna for the wave clear also to cancel out the damage coming out from Tychus.
Some of the problems with Uther, of course, are the fact that he's going to have to be using his heals and his mana pool several times to heal Gul'dan for Gul'dan tapping for mana, for example. That's one issue in itself. Is you're already worried about dealing with the heals of when Gul'dan gets caught out of position, but on top of that, dealing with Gul'dan when he's hurting himself is definitely a little bit odd. He can Divine Shield Gul'dan to set up some really cool Horrifies potentially. Zarya is going to be the last pick here for Tempest, so just get solo range damage Tychus. This draft got a little bit weird at the end.
But there's a Molten Core of Ragnaros always putting on a lot of the damage possible.
I think Zarya is just going to be for the Shrine. They want her to help secure those Skeletal Defender kills. Okay, this is the draft that Tempest has chosen to try to close this series out. I feel like they have the slightly better draft. There's definitely not a ton of damage in terms of range, whereas GG has brought Uther to the table for some extra protection for the Gul'dan. Will it be enough? We're going to find out right now on Infernal Shrines. In blue on their last life in the series, BDG on Falstad, Jaehyun on Uther, Good on Arthas, Hooligan on Johanna, Wujay on Gul'dan. It's GG.
And in red, Tempest, Hyde on Malfurion, Dog on Tychus, Lockdown on Ragnaros, Sign on ETC, and Modern Life on Zarya.
So, the early stages of the game with the Arthas in the solo lane. Definitely going to be a nice place for Tychus to be if they actually send him up here for the early game before sending Ragnaros. I think that's a smart choice. It's exactly what's going to happen. Duck's heading up there already. Going to take the safe path around the backside with the minions. And you can try to bully Arthas as long as he dodges the Howling Blast. It's going to be a good starting soul lane.
5-man gank attempt.
And that's going to cost them big.
They're going to lose some EXP, not too much, as they are already onto their rotations up and down.
They're still chasing Sign here. They lost only one minion here. Looks like Falstad actually got all 7 in the top lane. Ooh, there's the counter though. Good is trapped.
Even face melt. There's a burst heal coming out from Uther. Is that going to be enough? The answer is no.
Wu Jie did a lot of counter damage, but it just didn't matter in the end. Not enough to finish anybody off. So
I think that the last pick Zarya, they were really was not on top of their head, but once they saw the Uther pick, they really want to go for sustain and make sure that Uther runs out of mana or the heal is on cooldown. So Tempest want to draw it out, have a long fight, and Uther, when he's low on mana, basically GG will have to back up.
I think that's a good way to describe the situation here. It's that longer, slow burn damage that's so strong against the burst heals of Uther, because he can only heal one target burst, and then after that, he's got nothing. Going to be a single Dawn upgrade Corruption. Wants to look for the Echoed Corruption to complete, so you can have a big power spike later on when that's finished. Going to be the first time we see it. Once we have our overlay, so I'll finally actually be able to tell you guys exactly when it's done, instead of waiting for the team fights to look at it. It's going to be grenades coming out for Zarya as well for the build, so extra poke.
And with that Corruption and Markman, it's going to take a long time. It's going to take a while for them to finish all the quests.
Also, Johanna going into Regen Master, so a lot of scaling here and ability to scale well into the late game for GG. Is all this time we're seeing Ragnaros get some extra soak right now. Lockdown has gotten 2 full waves more than Falstad, and Falstad's the global, so already you can see Tempest is a whole level ahead right now, GG.
They realize that Falstad makes his way down. Rag is already soaking up an extra wave at the bottom also. Let's see the contest. For now, the number is going towards GG at the moment.
Hooligan is going in with a big condemn here. Jaehyun even aggressively using his Radiance to try to get some damage done. Hooligan's taking so much though, and long cooldown heals, he will just barely escape. This is so funny to watch these two solo strikers go at it. Modern Life's like, oh, I'm gonna steal your kills. Oh, good perhaps staying a bit too long though. The body block is so good. So much damage coming out from Wu Jie though, and BDG has joined the fight. Duck Duck is in trouble. It's gonna be a 1-for-1 it looks like here.
Duck Duck goes down, but Lockdown comes in for the help. It is going to be another 4v4 on Shrine.
Jaehyun's out of mana.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's exactly what they were looking for. Modern Life has somewhat of an energy, about halfway.
Yep. There are 4 skeletal defenders behind. Hooligan is also out of mana, but he wants to stay here. Sign is going for the power slide. BDG takes a lot of damage. There's the heal. Jaehyun, that's the last one he's going to have. He's going to have to tap to get more mana.
Is very low on her mana.
That looks like that's going to be enough for Tempest to win this.
This was their plan all along. That's why they chose Zarya as the last pick. They only needed 4 more, so they can take it slow. Just 1 more. And there's the last one.
I can tell you for sure, Duck Duck is like, oh, I wish that sign of the power slide there. I wanted that kill so bad. Arcane Punisher to start things off. Always a really powerful first Punisher. Jaehyun is just so low on mana. Hooligan should just hearth home. He's not doing anything here. Looks like he's going to do a few more auto attacks, but I feel like this is a great situation for Tempest. Yeah, I mean, you called it. The Zarya sustain is just so demanding against Jaehyun comparatively. Now there's no heals. Duck Duck, though, takes a ton of damage. Will he get the heal himself? Hyde is out of mana, too. So
he steps back into the Nexus. And that's Duck Duck dead. As we find Malfurion on the cooldown. Lockdown has been soaking up lots of EXP, actually even more since Falstad is the one actually died from that fight.
Ooh, power slide just barely does not connect, but like that might have been ill-advised anyways with no DPS nearby. So GG is behind, but it's not massive. It's just really half a fort and some wall damage. Tempest is closer to 10, but GG wants the scaling in this game with all their quests. For a potential invade here actually onto the siege camp. It doesn't feel like the returns are high enough for the risk. Nice dodge there by Duck Duck. So Lockdown is just continuing to some extra soak here, kind of keeping it even with Falstad, which means they're always going to be ahead. They're always going to be faster to 10.
And first Shrine was on top. So Falstad, depending on the next Shrine phase, would have to switch lanes to have the extra soak possible, which they have not been doing so much. And I think Tempest is rotating in a way that gives pressure to GG with ETC's power slide especially, and Sign with that body block. It's really giving pressures to on lane whenever he makes that big rotations.
They want this big team fight with 10. That's why they're party pushing here a little bit. For the rotation for the mid temple. Insta check though. Good's like, someone pinged it too, like this is risky. So it's just going to be normal talents. No Graviton Surge, sadly. We were wanting it. We knew it was pretty unlikely, but man can always dream. Just not much of a follow-up here. Graviton Surge into a mosh pit, into a Twilight Dream? Oh, no.
One day.
One day.
Yeah, but already onto the Shrine. Rag is soloing onto 21 already.
Oh, this is pretty...
And there's just no way of catching this sub. Looks like GG doesn't even want to contest.
They just get a cap and they're going to soak for 10. It's just pretty unreasonable to try to contest, sadly. Hooligan comes in with a big condemn. It's actually going to be a frozen Punisher, but
there's a blessed shield.
They don't want to stick around too long. That Punisher is going to jump in and get involved in the fight. Good is already rooted.
Let's get the burst heal, even the radiant heal.
So much damage done here, and this is the scary Punisher. The first one, it was arcade, but it was early game, no heroics, and this is the scary time now for GG. Blessed Shield was already used. There's no way to horrify with this safe positioning of Tempest right now. They're going to get a fort, and once again, Lockdown is soaking bot. He's going to go clear that neutral cap. And they're looking to double fort off this, and I think they can. Just completely abandon the Punisher, just going to soak mid with only ETC, which is actually kind of risky for Sign.
You're just getting so much pressure, even with that wave clear potential with Gul'dan. Does not have that power spike yet with the corruption not really finished.
Ooh,
there's a big gust,
nice
but
gust here.
There's no damage to follow
Instantly,
up, though.
the pings onto BDG, like, okay, just kill him. There's no more, there's no way to actually peel away. Good horrify here, actually. Can they turn this fight around? Good actually survived. As like they can actually turn this, though. And Good is going to get rooted. Forced to use that heal is Jaehyun.
I feel like BDG's damage was all they needed during that team fight. I think they could have got a pick onto Duck with Fawcett's Q and few autos.
Could have been amazing with that horrify, but
it's a little bit early off of communications onto GG's side, but even with that, that's going to even make the snowball a little bigger for Tempest now.
All heroics were used for GG, and Tempest still has Mosh. They're going to have Odin in the second, Twilight Dream, and we all know that the Explosion Zone, which really was the major heroic used in that last fight, has basically no cooldown. Graviton Surge is ever to be meta, it's going to have to be a little bit closer to that Expulsion Zone.
Love how Tempest is rotating in a way that pressures when GG has the global, they have the wave clear, but they're the one actually falling back because of all that pressure coming out from Sign's ETC. He's really making them not step over any line so they can soak for EXP. Look at that, he's everywhere.
Yeah, and that's you can't even, you're not even safe between your fort and your keep, and you can tell where the game's at when that's the case. So they're just soaking to try to get 13. That's all GG can do right now, waiting for the next temple phase. They want to have that even talent tier for the next shrine, spawning in 10 seconds. It looks like Tempest just wants to remove the last healing fountain here, which is kind of annoying, especially for...
Okay, this is GG's chance. False that soak bot, and then they can catch up to 13, and then they should be contesting a little bit at shrine and try to win the fight after hitting 13 with the same talent. Even Syndragosa, I think it can really make a big difference coming in with the Blessed Shield and Horrify to connect.
Okay, Modern Life gets the mount up. They're going to get there first. This is all about the Horrify and the Gust. That's the combo they need to win this. Look for Modern Life to drop down the Expulsion Zone because they're already on the retreat.
And Uj
is in trouble. Blessed Shield. He's going to need to drop down that Horrify. Actually, Syndragosa comes in first.
Horrify insta cleanse onto Sign.
Only one member hit. Modern Life is so well protected. He's got full energy now.
And Lockdown's going for a Molten Core onto the side. Jaehyun is trying to stop that from happening, but no way it's going to be Molten Core onto the other side.
Oh, this is nasty now. So much extra damage is going to come in. Modern Life, again, full energy, doing so much damage. The Molten Core is going to be the supplementary damage that's going to get them the wipe potentially here. Good's the first to fall. And there is no way out.
Ujay
solo. Okay, there's a good heal, but it's not going to save Falstad.
Oh, Lockdown is going to pick on Ujay perfectly. Oh, does get that last hit onto the tower instead.
And there's the last kill. It's going to be onto Johanna. Wave of Light is done, but so are GG's chances of winning this shrine. Tempest is going to hit 16 now. As we see Malfurion actually going into that Moon Fire build.
I think GG from the draft, they have choked into their own support build. I follow what they're thinking with Uther, but maybe just picking Ariel from the beginning when they just to pair it up with Gul'dan and have that CC when they are going to stay together anyhow. Why not pick up Ariel? I think that was the better option, and having Jaehyun on Ariel could have made a huge difference.
I mean, there's no value for Divine Shield here. You're also, you just don't have the wave clear that Ariel provides. I completely agree with you. Could have more consistent healing too.
Let's just switch Uther and Malfurion from each side. I think it makes GG's comp a lot more stable and comfortable and stronger too.
Yeah. I would 100% agree, but that was a long time ago. It's too late now, and
that's the power of draft.
They have to do what they can with what they've chosen. Gust used defensively here. They're trying to burn down this Immortal to save this keep. Sindragosa coming out as well. It's definitely going to help, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Now they're going to have Sindragosa for the combat, and this looks like it is going to be a dead keep regardless. So you can see the Shaman camp is still chilling, still frozen. They're going to break out soon.
Actually a pretty long
duration for sure. Explosion Zone does miss, but Tempest is just going to be fine to back out here. They have Sulfuras though. If BDG actually gets too aggressive, he will be picked off. Mosh as well. We haven't even seen that yet.
They have all the time in the world. It's going to take a long time for GG's to hit 16.
There's Epco Corruption. That's going to be a big power spike in terms of scaling and damage. Sulfuras misses here, but Hooligan is super low. Jaehyun has to heal him, which means he can't heal BDG, and look at that damage coming out! Divine Shield can only protect one of the squishies, and even though Ujay walks away with his life here, this may be core for Tempest.
It seems like if Falstad is already gone out of the fight.
Full energy. Look at how quickly Hooligan gets burned down. Interrupt on the Mosh here before the cast.
And I believe Molten Core is still available for lockdown.
Yeah, I don't think they even need it. Ujay is out of mana. Jaehyun trying to do what he can. Down he goes.
It's not enough, and Molten Core is up. They're gonna finish and secure the core for sure. And it looks like we're gonna be done with the series. GG losing to Tempest with 1-3.
Well played by GG. They put up a good fight, but at the end of the day, it was Tempest that is victorious. They take it 3-1 of our last match here of the evening. It was a tough time against Cassia on BOE, but everything else, I feel like they drafted better. They played better in the